Here we go. I think this might work. Oh. Oh. Okay, so that's YouTube. And I guess that's Twitch. Sweet. Alright, we haven't streamed here in a while. And I think so far it's working. Just dual streaming. Let's do a quick announcement. I'm not even gonna tweet it out. Alright. So for anybody joining me on Twitch, I haven't streamed here in ages because I've switched to streaming on YouTube. So if you want to keep following these streams, just head over to youtube.svencodes.com and you should find the streams there. So I was thinking, let's do some quality of life improvements, because currently every time I refresh, all the data goes poof, right? So, and also right now the settings themselves, or each section, so we have the line section, the cage section, etc., they kind of manage themselves, sort of thing. So maybe we can manage the data persistence at a higher level. To do that though, we need to notify when the data gets changed, right? And right now, the closest thing to that is, so this doesn't even happen. For example, prop change, right? So then we do component.render. So maybe instead of component.render, we'll have a component update. And I'm starting to think we really need a component class that we can inherit from. Otherwise, it's going to get way too messy. So if we do something like editable component, I'll just cut across this. C for component, or E for editable component. Let's leave it at E, right? And then we're just going to throw a few of these things in here. And we'll just do object sign this alt. Kind of like that. And we'll do a couple of logouts here just until we're set up. And then these, we're not going to do anything about. Yeah, let's see. I mean, in the moment we can just do something like that. All right. And just do this. Okay. And I'm gonna look up my JavaScript inheritance because it's been a while. One second, let me make sure the music isn't too loud. Don't think I can make it much quieter actually. Oh yeah, and I wanted to check if we're gonna get copyright struck again, because I had some problems with that yesterday. So let me just double check that. So I've switched to this playlist, hoping the chiptunes might not be as problematic. Let's see. Yes, no copyright claims on yesterday's streams yet. So hopefully that'll sort it out. I need to do a credit line on this as well. Forgot about that. All right. Oh yeah, and does OBS route chat through? I have no idea. I don't know. Let me know in chat if you're watching and on which stream you're on, if you're on Twitch or on YouTube. like I said, check it out on YouTube, youtube.svencodes.com. Okay, so the Twitch chats, the restream chat seems to sort it out. It's also probably going to be more stream delay than what I'm used to. And I was just looking something up. Let me do that here. And I'm talking not about modern class-based inheritance, but old school prototypical inheritance. I'm trying to remember. It's been so long. I think you have to assign the prototype. Let me think. Where was the most recent example when I did that properly? I don't even remember. It's been so long. I haven't done it in this project at all, for sure. So, yeah. JavaScript prototypical inheritance. I don't want to use the class keyword for legacy reasons and all that. Sorry, I should be doing this here. I'm just quickly looking through the basics here. I have to assign the prototype to an instance of the object, if I recall. Come on, does nobody do prototypical inheritance anymore? Well, this is not really inheritance. Oh, come on. Whatever. Oh man, this is also wrong. You shouldn't use the internal methods at all. Oh, come on. This is not what they're talking about. It's not inheritance. No wonder people find JavaScript difficult. And so much rubbish is out there. Oh, Jesus, don't make me sign in with my Google account all the time. Yeah, that's the class keyword. Alright, that's the proper way of doing it. I think is this the production, prototype object, yeah. This is prototype chain. Yeah, I don't want that. I want to just keep my prototype chain here. It still hasn't shown me how to create an inherited. It just skips past that. I know I can build a variety of projects by assigning things. Okay, well, that was very unhelpful. Where would I have done it? I wouldn't have done it in any of these projects, right? Well, I would have done it potentially. And do I have Xenocide? Well, definitely will have done it somewhere in the Xenocide Academy, right? Source, components, hintable. No, these are mix-ins, controllers, controller, game controller. Yeah. Controller. components. Man, might brave me to jump into a big code base like this so long ago. Oh my god, the syntax here kills me. See systems, components, patient component, card component, factory card model. No, this was a this wasn't even prototypical inheritance. This is different. Card model, move model, player model. Yeah, these were components. This is my own little component system here. Base component. I have the, oh man, I did the whole thing, shit. Alright, so base component. I built it into the extend sub thing. Alright. Because I wanted to have named constructors automatically generated for me. But I think this is basically the core principle, right? So we have an editable component like this, and then we can create editable thing like that. And let's just do something like this. Alright, editable thing. So, editable thing dot prototype e dot prototype assign. So we're already doing it here. So this is our constructor. It's basically this stuff, right? And just do new component dot prototype space component. So here we would start. Aren't we supposed to instantiate that? Structure apply. Structure apply. So we basically want editable component dot apply this argument, right? And then we're assigning the base component. So the editable component in this case. So we kind of want to do this. And not the prototype, but... Oh, no, the prototype. Alright. And then... Wait a second. Object. Oh, wait, this is object create. Okay, never mind. Okay, that's the difference. All right. So P equals e.prototype, which equals object create, editable component prototype. And now we have a constructor, which is the editable component. No, which is the editable thing. So it's the new constructor, right? So that's this guy. Component name we don't need. Defaults we don't need. And then I think that's the thing. That's it. So instead of this line, we have this little ditty here. And we can probably wrap that into a little something something. I mean, we could do it in this, similar to this actually. But let's just test this. And then we can do prototype.toString, and then we can have editable thing, right? So let's first make sure we didn't blow everything here. So console, oh wait, let's do a test here. Let ec equals new editable component. Right, component, and here we're just going to do arc1 equals 1. Opt, and toString should just be plus this. Something like that. I'm just a little rusty on doing it this way. All right, and then we'll do an editable thing. And what do we get? We get the editable component here. So we get a new editable component with argument 1. And editable component toString is this arg1. Then we're creating the editable component, which runs through the editable thing initializer and the editable component initializer. And we have the arg2, and we have editable thing.toString. And where does this get called? 141. 141. Ah, okay. So this doesn't run call toString. Call toString. This is yes, and this is the toString. Okay, and this is not toString. This is okay. All right. So that seems to do the trick. I think this one-liner here is enough. I'm tempted because it's this line that I'm likely to forget. This is enough to maybe not want to repeat it. So we'll maybe do a little helper function. Do we need, what do we need? We need E, which is the new constructor, and we need editable component, which is the old constructor. So we want answer store. I'm gonna call it base class new class, just to keep things super crystal clear. I do need the right braces here. And we're going to assign base class prototype. So base class.prototype equals object.create new class. No, new class.prototype. I'm going to create an instance of the base class prototype. And constructor would be the new class. Wait a second. We're here. We're here. And then we're here. Right. Nope. Alright. I'm just gonna return new class. So here we can just do inherit, editable component, and E. And am I saving the ancestor prototype here? No, I'm just including it with the thing. So base component, base system. So these are all the base stuff, right? So let's say the animation component doesn't actually have a full constructor here. Base system extend. So we're doing this. And what we're extending is component. Ah, wait. Create. Where's extend? Ah, here we go. Extend constructor. Base system extend. Base constructor. Ah, so we're adding this in here, and then in the function, so for example, this is in the system, so animation system, we can do this. All right, I'm okay with that. It's actually not too bad. So in extend here, why do I have two different systems for the same thing here? It's a bit strange. Base constructor. Base constructor, base system. Base constructor. Base constructor. I'm just renaming it basically. Right. Let's call it extend. I think this is fairly and yeah. I think we're using the words construct is also fairly standard because these aren't really classes, so. Okay. So, base constructor prototype, return constructor. It's basically this. Object create base constructor prototype. Yeah, I guess I can put them in a single line. It's not a big deal. And it's basically that code. The only difference is that this is not a standalone function. Okay, so then I can do, instead of inherit, I'll do extend. And then instead of doing this, I can do this.base constructor. And do I apply or do I just call it? Do I... Ah, no, I don't, yeah, I don't need to apply it because it's part of, okay, it already has this reference here. The only difference is about the whole arguments thing, but, you know, I can just do this now. And that should still work. Pretty fine. It doesn't. Cannot access an editable thing before instantiation. Editable thing. Oh. Why do I have this sitting here? Yeah. Here, this is my test stuff. Alright. Test stuff. Base constructor is not a function. Constructor. Base constructor. It's not a function. That is not a function. Base systems. So constructor.prototype equals extend. Ah, wait. Wait. Constructor.prototype extend equals. We're not returning the prototype here. So we can actually go back to this. Prototype. The constructor's already been assigned. We can do this here. I guess it'd have to be like this, huh? And then it'll work. Maybe it's best to keep it explicit like this. Because I could use the E in here and all that stuff, but this is fine. Okay, that's fairly clean. So, let's go to the editable line and do the same thing the way we did with the editable component, right? So here, in the editable line, we want to do this. Except now, we probably don't just want to assign everything, right? And then we want to extend it before we do all this other stuff. So editable line, extends editable component. If I go here and draw a line, it goes through editable component. Here we go. Okay. So get rid of that. We have the editable component, and then this toString gets overridden. That's fine. But now we can, so for example, we can serialize them and all that sort of thing. In fact, yeah, serialization is what we need for persistence, right? And I want to get rid of the whole update UI and render and all this stuff. All right. So, trying to think. We're having a couple of things because we have different kinds of data here. We have, you know, things we want to serialize and things we want to and things we want to, you know, just have for the instance, like the parts and stuff like that. We don't serialize those, right? So the editable component, extend, right? Editable component. So the same way we have toString, we want to have toJSON. Right? And we want to have from JSON. Now, one of the issues with from JSON is obviously that if we're doing anything during initialization, such as creating stuff and all that, we need to be able to reset the component when reloading it. And then for persistence, that needs to flow ideally through the higher level handler, right? That's basically our system. What I call the section. This is actually the system that handles all lines, and the system that handles all cages. I'm wondering if there's a better way of doing this. I mean, one of the main reasons I have the section is because something like the yellow cursor is actually handled by the section. And obviously, when we're in the cage editing mode, we might want a different kind of system. So it makes sense. It's almost like I'm almost thinking the ECS is actually appropriate here, right? We have the components and we have the systems. And we have the entities. So what is missing is to be able to split the line, to add points in the middle of a line. Oop. Negative thickness. Oh. Okay, I guess that defaults to a 1 or something. Also, I don't think these thicknesses align with the actual values, right? Because these are just straight pass-through thicknesses. So if I do this and change thickness to, what is that, 20? Ah, it's actually not that far off. Ah, okay. Maybe these do align. So I guess it's relative to the cell size, which is 64. So at 40, it shouldn't quite fill the cell. It's rendering the lines as separate segments. That's a little silly. Interesting though. Interesting. I wonder why it does that. All right. Oops. Yeah, so this is a problem. For example, I can't delete that line segment because I can't reach it. So there should be a way of like selecting the line itself. I'm just trying to think what's the best flow here. I mean, ideally, it's not just the sections that render them, but like they can be rendered globally. So right now, we have a render here, which doesn't actually do anything. So where are we rendering them? We are rendering them globally, perhaps. Ah, no, they get rendered when they get updated. Okay. I almost feel like I need some sort of flowchart here. So we have interaction, which differs by section. So we need the system to handle, you know, what happens when you click. Because when we're in line mode, clicking creates a new line segment. When we're in cage mode, clicking should, you know, in this case, start the cage, but then add cells to the cage, right? Now this is obviously all sorts of screwed up. Where does persistence happen, right? So persistence, right now, I select the line, and I change the preset to, let's say, German Whispers, and I have a green line. So at that point, the line should fire some sort of event to let something know that data has changed, right? Excuse me. And maybe I'm just overthinking it all, right? Maybe I should just call a function on the root object and just say, hey, you know, update your persistence stuff. My work allergies kicking in. Makes my nose itch like crazy every time I'm trying to get some work done. All right, I still feel like I'm being held back by this thing being a bit disorganized. And I'm starting to think that the setup I hit here with the entity component system was actually pretty good, and aligns pretty closely with what I need. Let me find the root ECS thing. So it has a registry. This was just, okay. I don't actually know if this is the core thing, or just some sort of test I did. Yeah, this doesn't do anything. Oh yeah, it is, and it's in the test folder. Fair enough. So, ECS, entity manager, prefab, entity manager, create new entity manager, entity ID, move all, remove. So all that stuff, all the general management of different things can be handled centrally. We have the prefabs, instantiate component, and that goes through something like the system. And here we can add entities, remove entities, add components. All right. And the base component is also simple, like the base stuff is all simple. And all of it is just managing components and all that. And the prefab system, also really simple. So components, systems. Oh man. It was actually a nice environment to work on. I didn't mind how it ended up in the end, the code base. I mean, some of the code is really old-fashioned, you know, like this syntax, which I don't do anymore. But I could do some things very easily. Like, not a lot of code to do a specific thing. So this was a draw a card effect. Boom. Less than a page of code. And it works. Destroy effect. This destroys a card. Again, page of code. Boom. Done. And this includes animations and everything. And this doesn't even have a lot of async handling in there. Alright, enough looking at my old code. So, right now we could just have each... Okay, I'm basically debating, should I serialize the elements separately or together? And now that I say it out loud, I'm definitely should serialize them together, because as a collection, they're basically a puzzle definition, right? And since I want to go the other way around, this should actually be very similar to a puzzle. So, in the editor, we have sections, right? And I actually want to make this thing accessible globally. So I'm going to do something like window.editor is this, right? And then I can go editor.sections dot lines. Okay, and that should now have a list of components on it. Okay, so I should be able to do something like object.keys. In fact, let's just do it here. Serialize. And we should do something like object.keys, this.sections, but for each section, let JSON. Something like that. Actually, we don't need to log it, we just output it, right? And JSON section name. And I regret having them uppercased. I think I'm going to do this. I think it's going to cause me problems down the line, but for now. And the lines and arrows thing, we'll figure it out. And we'll just do section dot components dot map component to JSON. Right? What did I break? 550. What did I break? I broke something. Just the capitalization, really? That's what I broke? Section change, init, section, and tool enter, section change, children, Handle section change. Change section. Next section. So handle section change. This dot section. Section. Okay. Change section handle tool, enter 522. Where does this section come from? Next section. Change section. Get to our section. Object keys, this dot section. Okay, so that's because we have something bad sticking out here. So, so we basically really just want to fix that if that section doesn't exist. Excuse me. That we clean that up. This dot section. If it goes undefined, next section, else this dot sections, and sections is an area and object. Doesn't matter. Make sure we didn't screw it all up here. Just gotta clean up, clean up, clean up, clean up. This is when you design while doing, how you end up. Spend half your time cleaning up the crimes of yesteryear. So, next section lines. This section is blah-de-da-de-da, and then section. No. This. Whoop. No. Don't do that. Object keys sections 0. Cages. This section is cages. So now we're in cages. We switch to lines. Now we have a line. If I refresh, now it's okay because the data's been cleaned up. And now we can go back to editor.serialize to editor. Where is it? Didn't I just add serialize? Nope, I removed it again. Okay. All right. So that gets us lines, and the lines look like that because our to.json doesn't do anything yet. Okay. And that's what happens next. So instead of making them, if I do this, I think I'm getting my points, thickness, color, part. Yeah, I get this. So we probably want to actually have a props property. Right. And we can do object assign this dot props. we'll do this. No, I don't think I need that. All right. So then editable line, change this to props, props. And instead of all of this stuff, we'll start. Yeah, I think that's why I added the defaults and all that stuff. Okay, cannot convert undefined or null. So 113, 113. Ah, okay. Reading length properties of undefined. So this is probably, it's trying to access the length, the points. So this is going to change to being a reference to props. And just the props. This dot props. So at this point, we don't have any edit. It instantiates an editable component. It tries to create a line because I moved. Okay. Maybe that's not a good thing. But that's a separate problem. So editable components props, editable line. All right. So this is obviously then the problem when things don't get passed in. So I'm guessing it makes sense to do kind of this dot props dot points. Okay, or yeah. Props points equals this props points or so we fill in the default, basically default values. And we could also do something like yeah, no, because we have additional things we're doing, like cloning the array and stuff like that. Reading undefined length editable to string. So all that stuff is now kind of like this. All right. Now we'll do the same thing. Points, thickness, color. We'll do the same thing up here. And then we'll do, yeah, then it's need to come up with a better, more intelligent way of doing the default props here. All these shenanigans, since I'm using up the props argument in here. I can probably change this to a call to assign props or whatever, which we'll get eventually. For 12, for 12, component. Props. All right, now the component shouldn't have been created here, and in fact doesn't get added because the update thing doesn't work. So here we don't do a get component. So what we're really going to do is this. and then we can skip that. Now here we're adding the component 391, so we probably have the same problem. Component. Probably what we really want to do is on this here, and we'll go let points equals component dot props. Or we should do the same thing down here. Something like that. Another one, 392. All right. I think that should do the trick now. But I've said that before. Okay. Now editor serialize comes back with lines, props, and parts, right? Lines. Okay, that's weird. 125. 125. Okay, so return this dot props. I'm guessing. Now, obviously, we want to do certain things, like the points should be converted to. No, they are RC values. Fair enough. We probably want to change this general to use areas instead. Our lines UI isn't updating. Oops. What happened here? That was strange. Probably because I renamed them. And I probably have a name in here somewhere that I didn't update. Um, 561 section. Cannot set properties of now. 74 update UI components element. If and equals null. All right, so the UI is still not getting rendered though. Why not? So we have change section, lines, section, update UI. And that just calls blah-de-da, yeah, all right. But what we actually need for this is get a GUI element. Where does that happen? Okay, it does happen. Why is that not? Everything's happening like in the wrong time. Did I not update them here? I did not. We have lines. And to be honest, we can just change that to this .name, I guess. I hate sometimes it's great that it does this sort of deconstruction there. Sometimes I hate it. I'm just looking for any explicit uses of the capitalized string. I knew it was a mistake when I did it at the time to use capitalization in internal reference stuff and not paying the price. Do we have styling for this? Is there a style sheet style that says capital L? I think that might be it. Yep. All right. This probably should also not exist. But for now, it's fine. I just have to remember. Don't waste time. Okay, here we go. All right, and then editor serialize gets us this. And we probably want to serialize it into editable line, editable component to JSON. Yeah, and then we probably need to have, when we're assigning properties, to have like some sort of event system that triggers. I mean, on the one hand, I feel like I'm overcomplicating things for this editor that I want to just put together really quickly. On the other hand, I feel like I'm laying maybe a foundation for refactoring the main puzzle code, because it really should be more like this. The puzzle code just kind of draws the image and then walks away. And it makes sense to internally have an idea of, or a place to put this kind of data, and then a solid structure to serialize, deserialize, add, remove, have different categories and all this sort of stuff. All right, my brain's slowing down, so this was a short stream. I just want to quickly get one in before lunch, so I'm gonna eat some lunch. I actually did a whole bunch of stuff this morning. I was updating some servers, updating special thanks page. I was setting up the restream. That was on my to-do list to let you guys on Twitch know that I'm still live. But I would really appreciate it if you go over to youtube.svencodes.com and drop me a sub there. I'm trying to get the numbers up. That would be really useful. And there's also patreon.svencodes.com where you can support the work I'm doing. So all this stuff is hopefully going to come out and be worthwhile and useful to lots of people. And remember, even if you're not setting puzzles, having better tools for the puzzle setters will get you better puzzles and more puzzles. So everybody wins, right? That's what I'd like to achieve. Let me just post URLs there. So there's, I don't know if it'll let me post them, but I'm going to try. youtube.svencodes.com. Let's see. And support. Can I send it to both? If I send it to Restream, does it go to both? Yeah, okay, it goes to both. Interesting. All right. That'll be interesting to see. And I mean, if you guys, if I see viewers happening on Restream, on Twitch, maybe I can just keep doing the Restream. I mean, the latency is pretty bad, much worse. So interacting with chat live will be more difficult. This is highlighted in red. Why is that? I'm just looking at my live stream dashboard here. Ah, I can pin that. Sweet. Wait, what did I just press? Anyway. All right. Not much visual progress, but we're gonna restructure the code a bit, so then I can add more things and have all these editor little things. I mean, I'm trying to squeeze a lot into a very simple, basic UI that I can potentially keep running. I mean, looking at this, if I look at the scale of these versus these buttons, it's not going to work like this at all on mobile. It's going to be too small. You're not going to be able to press things. But, oops, that's not good. I can't click it because it's off screen. Or the delete doesn't work anymore. Ah, okay. Probably the delete doesn't work anymore. Key points is not defined. What? Oh. Yeah, I would have liked to get to the point of... Why's the color black anyways? Yeah, so I'd like to get to the point of generally managing properties, having a property editor, all this sort of stuff. And I might have to look at it, like step back 1 second, think, hey, if I were to build Unity, what would it look like and all that. Yeah, it's not terrible, it's not terrible. Maybe my... Like, because I'm looking at the live image, and it's between the two. So, obviously both of them are going through restream, right? So you don't see the latency between what I see in my in OBS versus what I see on the stream. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There it is. So it's about 10 seconds, which can be a bit tricky for a chat. In fact, I saw on Restream, I saw your chat like several seconds before it showed up on my window of the stream directly in YouTube. So there's all sorts of shenanigans going on. But thanks for stopping by, I really appreciate it. It's 1:30. I had a late start on the stream. I think I wanna, if anything, I wanna get through this ASAP, so I might just strip it down and build it back up in the sense that I want to move all the shared component stuff. So the cages, the lines, anything I add in the future, have a simple shared system for serializing the data, simple flow for when they get rendered. There's always the two things. There's the component itself plus the UI, a simple system for updating their properties and having them refreshed, reserialized and all that stuff. And then once I have all that, hopefully adding new components is going to be super simple. And the spammers are here, woohoo! Wouldn't be the same without them. I'm getting quicker at getting rid of them though. In fact, I'm wondering, I'm so tempted to implement an empty component system, but I just don't feel it's justified. I spent a lot of time back on it back in the day. And I'd like to clean it up and reuse it. It was pretty solid and it was pretty battle proven. Because I'm thinking like, if different things have colors, then like I don't necessarily need a custom line editor. I could have, hey, this line has these properties, you know, it has points, it has colors, it has, you know, special things like an arrowhead, you know. Let's see if I change this. Yeah, you see, I broke this. This doesn't work at the moment. But I also don't want to over-engineer something that I might never need. And I don't want to compete with Sudoku Studio. I don't want to build a high quality, does everything best in class puzzle editor. I'd love to eventually, but right now I can't justify it. So I just want to do something to replace the CTC one, for CTC to be used, and for people to finally have access to the same things. Because FPuzzle seems to be a little bit of a issue there. Yeah, so this is, for example, to find the point here is a bit tricky. Yeah, so I might do a different cursor here, so it doesn't just, like, the circle only appears on the points, and maybe otherwise it's just like a little dot or something, I don't know. Might not even need it. All right, that's it. Gonna take a quick break. And I'll hopefully be back with another stream this afternoon. And I think I might want to specify specifically what I want to accomplish in that particular stream, so I can make specific progress, because I feel a bit when I finish the stream and it looks like it's in a worse state than before, even though I made progress, and it's not very motivating. So I'd like to say, okay, this stream we're gonna do A, B, C, and then tick them off as I go through the stream. And I just put a character there. It's gonna screw me over. All right, that's it. See you guys later. Hopefully you will be able to join again. And thanks for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. And see you in the next one. Bye-bye.